I'm Dan Milbourne from Teagasc in Ireland. I'm the perennial ryegrass crop representative for Invite. Perennial ryegrass is a really interesting species because, unlike a lot of the other crops that we're working on in Invite, it's a heterogeneous crop. What that basically means is that while other crops, if you take one plant and compare it to another plant within that variety, they're more or less genetically the same. Perennial ryegrass varieties are basically small populations of very similar but not genetically identical plants, and that creates some really unique problems for DUS testing that I think we're really coming to grips with within Invite. So for DUS testing, generally what's done is that you have to compare each candidate variety to nearly every candidate variety on the common catalogue in order to prove distinctness. Now, for perennial ryegrass, what this involves is taking 60 individual plants of each candidate variety and comparing them to stands of 60 individual plants of everything on the common catalogue. So you can see that in that scenario, there are tens of thousands of plants, and then DUS is based on 20 different characteristics, and so the number of measurements involved in this process is enormous, and that's a very, very real logistical problem that's only increasing over time for perennial ryegrass. So one of the things that has been happening in perennial ryegrass within Invite is the development of image analysis tools based on drone-based imaging and mobile phone-based imaging that allow DUS testers to capture data on these kinds of traits much more quickly and record it very, very easily. And so you're removing that enormous logistical problem, which requires very large amounts of time and reasonably large numbers of quite skilled people, who are becoming harder and harder to source as time goes on. Another problem that we have quite frequently in perennial ryegrass and other forage species, things like lucerne, is that it's in actual fact quite relatively common to find that a variety will pass VCU, which happens generally simultaneously, which means it represents a genuine advance on previous varieties, but unfortunately then fails DUS, and this is problematic because what you've got is one system telling you, well, this is clearly better and thus different in terms of an important agronomic characteristic, but DUS telling you, well, it doesn't look any different under the framework that we use. So what we've been using within Invite is trying to develop marker-based approaches, which we think can be used within the current UPOV framework in order to help make these DUS decisions more effectively, and there's some indication that by the end of the project we'll be able to contribute to that.